this is Dr. Bob, Dr. Anthony, and Dr. Case and DeMaria, and thank you once again for joining us for another half hour of health. And today, as always, we have so much information to bring to you. If you're watching us anywhere in the world, in our office, anywhere across northern Ohio, we're here to make a difference for you. And I know a lot of you have been watching us and been entertained for 10 years. I'm here to ask you, come on in. Let's take a look at what's going on, because you know what the options are? More medication, early death, obesity. You know that 60% of you watching me right now are overweight. Wouldn't it be awesome to create a plan, create a strategy for optimal health? We're going to talk about a variety of conditions today that I know will make a difference for each and every one of you. So call your friends and family members and say, hey, you have to listen to these doctors. They have it all together. So Dr. Anthony, what are we going to talk about tonight?
Today we have so many awesome props that we're going to talk to you about. Some of the things that are really we are passionate about, and just some educational tidbits to help you when you're out there exercising, making healthy lifestyle choices, and doing such things as increasing water consumption. We're going to talk about some of those things that you can do, and tidbits and nuggets that you can start doing at your home, and you can tell your friends and family that you watch Dr. Bob, Dr. Kaysen, and Dr. Anthony, and you were so impacted that you were able to go and change. Because you know why? We see that every day in our office when we give information to our patients that they aren't exposed to. They say, really? That's quite fascinating. And you know what they do? The next time they come in, they say they made the appropriate changes and it made all the difference in the world. So some of those tidbits and nuggets are going to be huge light bulbs for you guys today. So we're just thrilled and excited to be able to share that information with you. But before I begin, I want to remind you that you can check us out on Facebook at North Coast Chiropractic, and we're always updating our Facebook page, creating conversations with our patients and getting them involved with what we're doing in the office and how we're actually educating them about their health care and what's going on with chiropractic. So that was just a little bit about what we're going to talk today about, and I'm going to have Dr. Kaysen talk to us about one of the most important topics, and that is water. Getting water from a pure source and your containers for water.
Yes, I think the first thing I'm going to talk about is the containers that we have our water in. I know that we really like to use, this is a non-BPA water bottles. And BPA actually increases your hormones, especially estrogen in your body. Places that you get BPA are like canned foods, plastic bottles, and I know specifically water bottles, everyone's concerned where they're getting their water, and when we start making people aware of what BPA does, they start realizing that they have a lot of water bottles that are plastic in their home, and they might be getting BPA into their body and toxins into their body that they don't know about. So I know for us, we really like to encourage people to have non-BPA water bottles. We like to use the SIG water bottles, and just being aware of that. And also when people are working out, we notice people having their big water bottles and their iPods and everything like that, which actually throws off your mechanics. Because if you see people, they try to lift weights while they're walking, and that can really damage your spine, and your nervous system is impacted by that. So I know that just being more aware of how you're carrying your water bottle too when you're working out. We like to use Camelbacks, which are on your spine. They're like little bags. I don't know if you've seen them anywhere, but we don't have one here right now. But you put them on your back, and they're kind of like little backpacks, and you don't have to worry about holding on to something big like this while you're running or walking or trying to get active outside. So I know that's what we like to do.
Probably should put a picture of it on Facebook, a picture of a Camelback. And I know what Dr. Kaysen is saying is just so amazing. And this whole BPA, you know, I wrote a book called Dr. Bob's Guide to Detoxification, and we reported about BPA years ago. The significance of it is the fact, especially if you have young boys or girls, and I know a lot of people, we've really never used a lot of canned food, but a lot of people use canned food because it's easier for them. If you have a young boy or young girl and they're using canned food, young girls will have secondary sexual characteristics, and they're going to have basically a hormonal dysfunction with larger breasts starting at a much earlier age. And I've even seen girls have cysts on their ovaries and breasts at too early of an age. But what really concerns me is about the young boys today that could have actually an enlarged prostate gland because of too much estrogen. See, the canned food puts estrogen in the body. What happens is that BPA, when they heat the can, the pasteurization process causes the estrogen to go into the food. I'm going to say that again. When they seal this and they pasteurize that can, the heat, the intense heat, causes the estrogen to go into the food. So ladies, if you're watching me right now and you have tender breasts and heavy menstrual flow and your gynecologist wants to do an ablation to your hysterectomy, I just read statistics that maybe only 6% of all the hysterectomies done in the United States are necessary. The rest of them could be prevented by just proper modification of one's lifestyle. So I know that I drink water on a regular basis. I know we don't drink soda. I mean, I gave up soda 20 years ago. All you have to do is just look at the chemicals that are inside of it. I think, Dr. Anthony, we are so duped by the manufacturers today that sometimes I think that we are John the Baptist out in the woods, hey, repent, repent. And we're not even trying to be left-wingers or anything. We're just trying to give you basic scientific knowledge.
I think one of the things that helps me too is always different examples of things within chiropractic and within healthcare. And I can remember a study that I read when I was in undergraduate school at Messiah College, and it talked about how the environment is still coping with things that happened 30 or 40 years ago, and it talked about DDT being sprayed in the United States of America. And what happened with DDT is they did a study on penguins in Antarctica, and they found that the penguins in Antarctica had DDT in their blubber. Can you believe that?
No, I can't.
They had DDT that was sprayed in the United States of America, ended up in Antarctica in their blubber. So I think some people are so easy to say, well, I don't think there's really a problem. But let me tell you, just because you can't see it doesn't mean that it isn't there.
Well, you know, it's kind of interesting because as we are taping this for you to watch us, there was a huge tsunami that occurred in Japan some time ago, and that whole mass is floating over to the northwest part of the United States. And I just actually read an article about kelp, and that kelp is really a very wonderful food, but it's almost like the scavenger of the ocean. And all this radioactive fallout and all these chemicals that are in the ocean are being absorbed by the kelp. So you don't ever really talking about kelp personally. I'm not sure, and if you have kelp at home, I am not sure how healthy it is because of the chemicals that are in the kelp. And I also know that they've done research that the cows over in the northwest United States already have traces of this radioactive iodine that's in the milk. And I'll take it a step further, that farm-raised fish in New England, from all the chemicals that float around the world, are impacting farm-raised fish. And so we don't promote farm-raised fish. Actually, we don't hear us talk about fish a lot because we just don't know how toxic it is. It's frightening, isn't it?
I know, and a lot of people, like especially women who are trying to get healthy, they want to eat like tuna fish and different kinds of fish and things like that. But really, it's scary because we don't really know where it's coming from, even if it does say that it's good for you.
I know, they have a lot of mercury in that fish today also. So what I have in my hand right now, this is a piston. And a piston is in a vehicle. So ladies, this comes from a motor. And what's kind of interesting, you see that little dip right here at the tip of my finger? What I learned from somebody, that this is the part of the piston that causes oil to flip around inside of the engine. This is an oil filter. So we like to use these particular props when it comes to health and wellness because you can visualize with this. So ladies, this is an oil filter. I use this often as a great visual for, this is the liver in your body. So as Dr. Case was talking earlier about the BPA and Dr. Anthony was talking about the toxins in the DDT, in the blubber, in the penguins, you want this liver to be functioning optimally. This liver, this oil filter processes all the toxins. So body signals for a toxic liver would include varicose veins, spider veins, hemorrhoids, and the ever terrible cherry hemangioma. I was going to say, what's a cherry hemangioma? Well, Dr. Casey was talking about the chemicals that are in the water, BPA. It's an estrogen. So men, you know this is an oil filter. It's kind of like you pay me now or you pay me later. That was the old Fram oil advertisement. Cherry hemangiomas are little red bumps that are on your breast and on your abdomen. And gentlemen, if you have those cherry hemangiomas on your body right now, you need to give our office a call. For sure, you're going to want to get Dr. Bob's Men's Health, the basics, because what I have found from my experience, and I've been doing this since 1978, is those cherry hemangiomas show up and your liver's plugged up. It's a body signal that you have too much estrogen. Gentlemen, it'll cause your prostate to enlarge. And if your prostate's enlarged, they'll take your prostate out. They will literally rotor-root your prostate gland, which is quite a frightening thought if you think about the consequences for choices. And I just want to throw this out to you right now because we're in, and it could be any season of the year, and I know that people love to go golfing. This is going to flip some of you out right now. But when you go golfing, they spray, this is the movement they use when they spray fairways with herbicides and pesticides that are loaded with estrogen. And gentlemen, I'm not saying you can't go golfing. You can go golfing as much as you want. But I'm going to tell you, in our practice, we have the ability to do an assessment on your testosterone level and on your estrogen level. Men today that are 55 years and older, like me, like you watching us right now, have probably, I don't have this by the way, have higher estrogen in their bodies than their wives or their friends or their female friends do. That means you're going to be passive, you're going to have larger breast tissue, you're going to be peeing all night long because your prostate gland is swelling. This is so serious because I have men that come into our office all the time with half a tear in their eye because they want to take their prostate gland out, and you don't need to have it done. Oh, that was a lot of information. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
Hello, and thank you again for joining us on this Half Hour to Health program. I'm Dr. Anthony DeMaria. I'm joined by my father, Dr. Bob DeMaria, and my wife, Dr. Kaysen DeMaria. And we've been having such a wonderful time today educating our patients and our viewers about what's going on in the real world with their health decisions, with chiropractic care, and just healthy tidbits. It's been really awesome being able to talk to you guys about some of these things that you don't get to hear on a regular basis. But one of the environments that we like to promote, that we are sharing this information with you that you can get other than this program that you're watching right now, is by going on to Facebook and liking us on North Coast Chiropractic and creating a discussion on there about health topics. You can also check us out on druglessdoctor.com and check out some of the wonderful information that we have on there, as well as many resources such as books or videos on that website. So earlier we were talking about water. And one of the things that I wanted to share with you about water was an independent research study that was posted by Mercola, which is a health website, that went and analyzed bottled water. And you know what they said? 40% of bottled water is tap water. So make sure when you get bottled water that it's from a pure source. And you can say, well, what's a pure source? Do your due diligence and do some research on where your water actually comes from. And on top of that, that same study that said that 40% of the water that you drink is from tap water also talked about the contaminants that they found in bottled water. You know what it included? Caffeine, antidepressants, bacteria, a whole bunch of things that you would not expect to be in your bottled water was in there. So one of the things that I would like to encourage you to do, or I not should say encourage, but empower you to do, is begin researching what you're putting in your body. By doing that research, you'll be able to make better decisions for your health so that you can have a long-lasting life of optimal health. So that's really all what we are here, and our purpose to do is to give you guys wonderful tidbits about your life and promote healing in your body.
You know, it's kind of interesting because I was thinking about what's in the water. It's so frightening. The average glass of tap water has been